Welcome to David's Life and Observation with your host, David Welch. And today's today's episode, my podcast, is covering a few things. First of all, the verdict, which I kind of predicted she was going to get let off pretty easy. I did see that coming. I did know that she was going to get the murder charge as well, even though I originally thought manslaughter. But lo and behold, they did charge her with murder because when in Texas state law, if you have any intention, and she did have the intention to shoot any intruder, that was her intention. So they were definitely right with the murder charge. But do I believe she should have got longer? Now, is it a horrible situation to be in where you think it's your apartment and you think you have an intruder on your hands and you're standing your ground because, you honestly believe it's a place you're allowed to be in that you can be in. But there had to have been seriously no dialogue between those two before she unholstered her weapon and killed him. Because a little bit of dialogue probably would have been able to save his life and would have given her the opportunity to go to her apartment, have a close call, and say, you know what, hey, my bad, but ultimately it cost the gentleman his life. And it is a crappy situation, yes. But we have an accountability problem with public officials in this country. It's an issue. People are getting sick and tired of it, and it's not like she wasn't held accountable to a point, because she was found guilty of murder. She'll never be able to work in law enforcement again. She'll always have that felony charge on her record unless she appeals and then gets it bumped down to manslaughter, which is possible. But even then, she gets a dime of time, but she's realistically only going to serve a nickel. Maybe. To me, though, I mean, it's just, her. As a juror, I would have filibustered for at least 20 years. The only reason being that I would filibuster for so much time is because, one, there was no attempt to have a dialogue with Botham Jean in his fucking apartment. There had to have been no conversation. And even if there was a brief conversation, she was so full of her own dumb shit that she chose not to listen to the guy saying, hey, this is my fucking spot. What are you doing here? And then killed the guy. She should have got more time. Absolutely. She absolutely should have got way more time than she did. She did have the intention of murder. They prove that she had the intention of killing the man, and it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if the guy got maybe 2-3 words out before she shot him. She had that intention the entire time. No matter what, I have an intruder in my home, I'm going to kill that person. That's the mentality of this woman. And then she calls her partner first. Doesn't even call 911 to render any CPR or any first aid to the guy she just shot to death. And for the community to allow, for the jurors to allow this woman to get off as light as she did is a farce of justice. Because let's say it was a black male cop shot a white woman in her home that he genuinely thought was his. This dude would be getting 20 plus years because it's a guy. Simply because the genders are different. And it would have been the whole, oh, she's white, and he had this intention the whole time. Yeah, they would have turned it into more of a race issue than this issue. Even though it absolutely was a race issue. She saw, oh, scary dark man, let me kill him, and that's exactly what happens. It may not be in the conscious mind, but in the subconscious, She, had a problem with scary black men. And she killed one who wasn't even scary in his own home, eating ice cream, doing nothing but being. The brother's a disgrace. The brother, for you to forgive the woman that killed your brother? Nah. Nah. You're a piece of shit. You want to know why you're a piece of shit? Because it's not, you're never going to get your brother back. But you could have got justice. And you got a small amount of justice for the murder of your brother. Did you secretly want him dead, you piece of shit? Did you want him to die? Why are you okay with this? A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he has forgiveness in his heart from the Lord. No, he has forgiveness in his heart from an imaginary sky person about the person who murdered and took away his brother. I don't get it. Somebody murdered my brother in cold blood in his own apartment. I'd be asking for the chair. I'd be unruly at best. It's sad. We just have no accountability in this country. We have law enforcement in Doral, the Doral Police Department. To be fair, they arrested a man in a separate incident where a man shot at them. When they went to arrest him, it wasn't nearly as violent as the arrest they gave another guy, and they ended up breaking his leg. And it's a small, Doral Police Department is a small police department. Or Doral, or however the hell you say it. They are a small police department. Yet, for some reason, they have a lot of use of force incidents. Why? Because they like violence. They're bought into the cult of personality of law enforcement when it comes to the use of force in every situation. They escalate. They don't try to de-escalate shit. And there's even a situation in Shelby County, Tennessee, where two deputies who were dealing with a possible theft of package with a woman. Guy steps out of his place of residence, happened to be armed, and they almost killed him. They almost killed him for being armed when he's legally allowed to be armed and he's legally allowed to be there. They unholstered their weapons and pointed it. Because the guy was on scene, happened to be there, he lives there, and happened to be armed. It's not illegal in Tennessee to open carry. Not illegal, especially when you have a carry permit. Not illegal whatsoever. It is not illegal, and they're going to cite officer safety. There is no fucking law for officer safety on the books anywhere. None. There's no law for officer safety. It's a made-up thing that they've made in their head. That they think it's okay to subvert your rights or violate your rights based on this imaginary buffer zone that they can create through the use of force themselves. Nowhere on the books is the officer safety a fucking law anywhere. It's not a law. They are public servants. They serve the public. And for those officers, those deputies to say that, oh, well, you don't pay my salary, they do. Every taxpayer. And if you are an officer and you say you pay taxes, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker. Look at that argument. You pay taxes with taxpayer money, so you essentially pay yourselves or other officers. You don't pay taxes. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's fucking ludicrous. You are paid by the individuals in that county for your salary. For you to say you don't work for a citizen in that county is woefully misguided and fucking ignorant. So you dumb pieces of shit deputies, Deputy James and what was the other guy? I think he was an Asian guy. An Asian American man. Chang. Chang or Zhang. One of the two. I think Officer Zhang. Yeah, that's it. So for you guys to say, oh, well, we don't work for you, you do. You're a public servant. You may be employed by the sheriff's office, but you work for the county. You work for the people in that county. And for you to cockily say, oh, well, we're going to arrest you for disorderly, the guy wasn't being disorderly. The guy was lawfully allowed to be there and lawfully carrying. If you're not breaking the law, you're not doing anything to be disorderly. And just because he doesn't follow your every whim, there's no scene. There's no scene. You're having a conversation with somebody about a theft package. There is no scene that he entered. He stood there, didn't say a word, and you approached him, and you were there, and you attacked him with the intent to shoot him. You made every threat in the book to fucking get him to go inside and put his weapon inside, when that's an infringement upon his rights, you dumb, oath-breaking motherfuckers. You just can't get it out of your heads that you're really not in control. The people are in control. You may think you have authority, but you really don't. You don't in that situation. You have authority when someone breaks the law. You don't have any authority otherwise to create your own safety zone. You don't. Now, if there is a crime scene, you put up crime scene tape. Now, if there is an area of comfortability for you, which the Supreme Court's already ruled 15 feet's perfectly fucking fine, for you to have more than that is a fucking allowance on the citizen's part. So get your heads out of your ass, law enforcement. You guys aren't the ones in charge. The people are in charge of you. If you don't get it, so here's the solution to bad cops. Here's the solution to bad law enforcement. There needs to be, whenever there's a use of force incident, or if there's an incident where law enforcement is doing unlawful things, those officers need to be arrested immediately. There needs to be an agency, or there needs to be a system in place where officers that commit crimes need to be arrested themselves on the spot, because normal citizens, everybody, everyday Joe and Jane citizen, are going to get arrested on the spot for a crime that they commit. Law enforcement should not just be a complaint system. They need to be arrested for crimes they commit against people, and then they need to sit in cells until their case is adjudicated, just like everybody else. So you're creating a caste system by just putting them on administrative leave, allowing them to go home to their families for 90 plus days until, and they get paid still. They're still going to get paid by the county. They're still going to get paid by the city or the state. And everybody else would just be ass out of luck. They would not continue to get paid from their employer. So you created a caste system where people who hold a badge and a gun are sovereign citizens. They believe they are above the law. In fact, a lot of them believe they are, in fact, an embodiment of the law. They personify the law in themselves. So they have a false belief and a false sense of security that they are allowed to do violence to citizens in any way, shape, or form, and then they're going to be justified by the law system, which in fact they are not. So there needs to be mechanisms in play where, even if it's after the scene, another agency should come in. It should be the FBI, in fact. There should be enough agents to, in fact, at a local space to check out the situation, determine that law enforcement did violate the law, and then those law enforcement officers need to be put in a cage until it's all settled. That's what needs to happen. That's how you mitigate the nonsense that is your beat cops and your state police and these other police agencies getting away with crimes for years. Sometimes it takes years for a citizen to beat one case, and then they turn around and file a lawsuit, and by then the city claims, oh, well, you can't file a claim because it's not within 2 years, or it's not within a year. Holy shit. What a fucking great system for them, and a shitty system for the American people. What a great system where the state can use thousands and thousands of dollars, millions of dollars of resources to go after one individual to get a conviction of some sort of crime in order to vindicate the crimes committed by their state agents. It's amazing. And we're finding more and more, where not just law enforcement, but we have CPS in droves committing crimes, lying, committing crimes in copious situations where we just had 2 twin toddlers die because of the foster care system. It's not a perfect system. It is a system that is human trafficking. It is definitely a human trafficking system. It's cash for kids. And if you think it's not, I dare any citizen who's never been involved with CPS, never been involved with family court, go to a family court and see the injustices just play out. They're unconstitutional. Why? Why do we allow this unconstitutional system in every state to persist? Why is it a thing? Why do we allow it to persist? CPS should be fucking abolished, or